guys, welcome to Oops Palsy Podcasts Friday Find Out, our Friday Q&A session. We're glad to have you here. That is my co-host Ty. So we're going to be discussing a few questions, give the answers to the best of our ability. Friendly reminder, we are not medical professionals. Please check with your doctor. Ask questions about anything that you are interested in medically, such as treatments or devices, things like of that nature. So a couple of quick announcements before we get started on this Q&A. We are looking at transitioning the Q&A to a live platform at some point where we can ask questions live. You guys can ask any questions that you would like, and we'll answer to the best of our ability, and we can do this live. We do have a Twitch account set up, and we're thinking about possibly doing it on Twitch. We've also got a Kick account set up. So there's a couple of options there so that we can do something live and kind of be a bit more interactive with everybody. So that is something that we are going to get started probably. I would say we can have that up and running by the next Friday Find Out. And also, I know the podcast has been a bit sporadic lately. It hasn't been very consistent. I do apologize for that. That's been some health issues on my end. As we go into the winter months, it is a lot more harder on me physically due to the cerebral palsy. I deal with a lot of fatigue, a lot of aches and pains, staying wrapped up in heated blankets and stuff like that for days at a time sometimes. So I apologize for that. Ty can attest to this. I've canceled on him like 6 times
If you've been paying attention
recently.
to the podcast, we've discussed this aspect of cerebral palsy before.
Yeah. So it's just just dealing with that winter fatigue, and it sucks, man. But we are gonna do our best to get back to being consistent. So like one topic episode a week and our Q&A weekly, and we're hoping to transition that to live. So with that said, that's about all the announcements that I had. Did you have any announcements, Ty?
Oh no, except like I believe everyone should say fresh and funky.
Okay. All right. So one of the first common questions that I want to get into is, what are the types of cerebral palsy? Now, we are going to be doing a video on each type at some point here soon. So we're going to do a separate video for each type, but there are 5 types of cerebral palsy. There's spastic, mixed, athetoid, hypotonic, and ataxic. So those 5 types we will be going over and doing videos on. We're also going to do videos on the severity types of cerebral palsy and kind of what those might look like as well. Spastic is the most common type of cerebral palsy. That's the type that I have. I have mild spastic diplegia. And again, we're also going to get into the definition of mild and moderate to severe on separate videos as well to kind of go into more detail on those. But I just wanted to kind of answer that question about those 5 types of cerebral palsy, just so you guys are aware that it's not just all one type or something. It's all kind of lumped together. And I'll let Ty go for the next question because that's all I had, really.
Okay.
I have, I'm a
So
hot mess,
greetings, fans.
yeah.
It's me.
You gonna say who you are? You're just gonna say it's me?
It's me. You all should know. You develop your parasocial relationships now on demand. My name is Tyrell Roberts. I'm here to answer a few slightly confusing questions. Okay, so what are the causes of cerebral palsy? They are many. Most involving birth, after birth, a few post-birth, which honestly is disturbing on its context, but I lived through it, so it's okay. You live. During pregnancy, multiple births, twins or triplets, that puts a lot of pressure on the system. I know, because I've watched several women give birth to one, and it was hard enough. Infections. Does go without saying. Infections on the brain and fetal tissue can cause mass inflammation and other severe issues, and thus damage to cranial tissue. Poor nutrition. Got to keep nutrition up, ladies. Proper dietary. Talking to your doula and your someone giving a pregnancy doctor. That might be just because holes in my brain, not being male. Exposure to toxic substances, including nicotine, alcohol. So everything affects the fetal, especially when it goes to the woman's body. Too much nicotine or alcohol, especially alcohol, can cause a lot of brain issues. Maternal diabetes, hypothyroidism, and high blood pressure. Now, both those things are different issues. The body is attacking itself. Low sugar, hypothyroidism is your thyroid gland is hyperactive. Sometimes it's because the immune system is attacking the hypothyroid, but that leads to flux of your basic hormones and stuff fluxing through your body, which can damage your own organs, let alone the fetus. Premature dilation of the cervix, leading to premature delivery. I think we discussed this in a previous one. So there was an expert who was talking about what happens before or after delivery. Biochemical genetic disorders. I actually learned this the last episode we had with a lawyer dealing with issues with birth. And he mentioned something he had to learn to do his field, which is both law and medical. And he mentioned biochemical genetic disorders that he was tracking that would be the natural causes of cerebral palsy. And that blew my mind, and leading to
Yeah, and for
seizures.
those that are interested in seeing that video, that interview was our most recent episode, episode 13. That was with attorney Russell Gregory from the Cerebral Palsy Law Centers. And we did also link his contact information down in that description below and in the comment section as well.
Go back and watch it. It is a fascinating interview.
That was very nice,
Chance,
yes.
yeah. Chance malformations of the developing brain. That is basically just saying a bunch of random crap that we do not know could happen, leading to stuff that we already do know that can happen. Early childhood, because it's not just at birth, people. Infections such as meningitis, brain hemorrhages, head injury following falls, car accidents, or abuse. Lack of oxygen, asphyxia due to accidents such as drowning. Seizures, again, all damage to the brain, mostly the cerebral cortex, leading to palsy symptoms. And that's what causes. Next one, if you got one. Otherwise,
So I just wanted to touch on because I've seen a lot of people ask about digestive issues and constipation regarding their children. And yes, 100% that is a cerebral palsy thing. I am an adult and I still deal with constipation every now and then. I have to take stool softeners on a regular basis to help kind of move along. You know what I mean? The reason being is because our muscles don't work the same way everyone else's muscles do. So it's not moving along that stool like it would for you or, someone else that doesn't have cerebral palsy. Now there is a, concern with that medically because that can cause impactions. It can cause it can even get as severe as needing surgery to rectify the situation. And on the flip side, there's also a lot of people with cerebral palsy that deal with incontinence. Their muscles for their bladder and their bowels don't work. They have the opposite issue where they have incontinence. And there are a lot of people with cerebral palsy that because of this issue, they do have to wear adult diapers or pull-ups. And unfortunately, you typically see that in the more moderate to severe cases of cerebral palsy, but that is a thing. But I just wanted to let people know that that's not an uncommon question that we see. In fact, I see it probably pop up on a weekly basis, if not twice a week. But it's not something to, feel bad about or question yourself about or anything like that. It's just kind of what's been thrown in our deck of cards. And again, with that, talk to your doctor about possible treatments. For me, when I was a kid, I did apple juice, applesauce. We had X-Lax on hand, enemas. Yeah, it's not pretty, but just talk to your doctor about options for your kid because everyone is different. But just know that is a common side effect, unfortunately.
let's delve into it a little bit. There's several different ways it can happen. Bowel issues, constipation, very common problem, caused by slow-moving intestines due to poor muscle coordination, low fluid and fiber intake and mobility. Bowel incontinence. This occurs when someone cannot control the muscles around the rectum, leading to accidental bowel movements. A neurogenic bowel. This can happen when nerve damage from cerebral palsy disrupts the communication with the brain and the bowels, further hindering control. So that's just not muscle, that's literally the nerves.
Yeah.
Contributing factors, muscle control. Spasticity or weakness in the muscles that manage bowel movements makes them hard to control. Mobility, lack of movement, because you move, it goes through. And difficulty with posture can slow down the digestive process. Diet and fluid intake. Low intake of fiber and fluids is a major contributor to constipation, and especially when you're mobile, it's difficult to constantly make sure you have a proper intake of fluid and dietary needs. Patients. Some of the medications used to manage other symptoms of CP can cause constipation, side effects as constipation, which again is just a side effect of all medications some of us might take. Just this one is issued with cerebral palsy. Swallowing issues. A lot of us have muscle issues around the throat. Difficulty swallowing. Dysphagia can lead to lower intake of food and water, worsening constipation, which is related to the diet and fluid intake. Management and treatment, dietary changes, increasing fiber and fluid intake can help, which is just obvious there. Physical therapy can help with exercise and positioning, improve bowel function. Physiotherapy helps us, period. Medications, more medications to stop the other prescriptive medications. Stool softeners, laxatives, suppositories can be used to manage constipation. Bowel management programs. This may involve a combination technique to help consistency and scheduling of bowel movements. I, for one, get told, hi, it's not normal that you only go to the bathroom once a week. You probably should get that checked. Oh my God, it's probably because of the palsy. Other interventions. For severe cases, other treatments include enemas, digital stimulation, which I have no idea what that is and might have to look into it, and some instances, surgery. And I want to make a smart joke, but I'm not sure if I can say a certain word online.
We are on YouTube, so we do have to kind of keep it PG. And I do want to I can attest to the difficulty swallowing because that is something that I recently developed. Now, this isn't something that I dealt with growing up with cerebral palsy. This recently started being an issue when I developed the cervical stenosis, which is likely because of the cerebral palsy and the strain that it put on my back and on my spine. But as far as the difficulty swallowing, I get periods where like I will be eating and then it feels like I'm trying to swallow peanut butter. So it's like the equivalent of taking a giant spoon of peanut butter, putting it in your mouth, and just trying to swallow with no liquid or anything else to kind of help dissolve it. So just think about how uncomfortable that is for a second. And as far as dietary changes that I personally made, I will cut food into smaller bites. I will take smaller bites. And then there are times where it is so bad I will not eat and I will just put my food up and wait until it's went away, until that muscle kind of relaxes. So that's due to an esophageal spasm, which is what causes the difficulty with swallowing. And I wouldn't say I get it very often now. It has gotten better, but I would say it's still every couple weeks that I deal with it. So I always make sure that I have something to drink while I'm eating. I always make sure that I'm taking like smaller bites, that I have stuff cut up more. But yeah, it's a scary feeling. And there have been a couple times where I've coughed while eating, and there's a time that I almost choked and I had to have the Heimlich maneuver done. That is not comfortable. That is painful. I
You gotta
don't want
work
to
away
have
if
that
it's
happen
done
again.
properly.
Oh yeah. No, it was done properly. I was fine, but it's the amount of force that's going into you that like your chest is gonna hurt after that's done.
Beat the cord bejesus out of your
Yeah.
diaphragm.
Well, because let's say you have to lift and you have to go in and up at the same,
Yeah,
like
just
that crap hurts,
punch.
basically. And so, if your child does have difficulty swallowing, definitely keep a close eye on that, monitor that a lot, make sure that they're slowing down when they eat, make sure that
Yeah,
stuff is cut up properly so that they can eat without it being an issue. And definitely if you notice this become a thing, immediately talk to your doctor. You don't want to risk your child choking because of something that you waited on or you weren't sure to ask or maybe you were worried about asking or what they would think.
I
That's
think the
something you
worst ones of
immediately
us
want
get
to
like
talk to your
food tubes put in because it's such a danger.
Yes, so there are people there are people with cerebral palsy. Again, you see this more in the moderate to severe cases where they are unable to chew and swallow to the point where they require what's referred to as a G tube or gastrointestinal tube. It is a tube that has to be inserted into their stomach, and then there's essentially this slurry of nutrients that you get that goes in the tube. And so it's not an uncommon thing with cerebral palsy, unfortunately. And it is something that, I didn't grow up with it. I developed it probably about a year ago. I've been dealing with it for like a year now, I think. So it is something to kind of keep an eye on, something that can potentially develop, and if you notice any issues, just talk to your doctor. That's about the best advice I can give on that because,
They have things called degrees.
yeah, and I think what it is a lot of people because like you see a lot of these questions online, and I think part of it is because people are very often left in the dark, like their doctors either aren't giving them enough support and aren't really answering things adequately, or it's a situation where that person might not want to ask their doctor for how the question might come off, or, they might have some insecurity with asking that question or whatever. But my thing is, like, there is no such thing as a stupid question, especially when it comes to your health, especially when it comes to cerebral palsy, because there are doctors that I've had to explain what cerebral palsy is. So there's a big informational gap in the medical community when it comes to cerebral palsy as well. So I think it's a combination of that kind of. But I
Also,
do
if you
see
let this
that
thing we call
question.
life, ask a stupid question
Yeah.
because it
Well,
can become a stupid permanent problem if you don't ask a stupid question.
yeah, well, like my thing is, I think, we see questions like that often. And, the reason that the support groups exist the way that they do, and the reason people ask things the way they ask and everything is because they're just not getting that support that they need as far as like the medical care from the medical side of it for one reason or another. Um, but that is a question that I see often. So I do want to just reassure people that that is kind of normal as well, and it can develop over time. It can be something that you may not have an issue with at all, and then just develop later in life, like I did, or it can develop at any point, I would imagine. So, definitely keep an eye on that if you notice your kid starts having trouble eating, have them slow down when they eat, make sure that things are in small bites, make sure that they're fully chewing their food. And if you start noticing it being a continuing issue, definitely bring it up with their doctor and see what they recommend. Do you got to tend to a
Uh,
kid thing?
no, it's a dog and it's whining and I don't know what it's doing.
Do you want to go check to see what the dog is doing?
It's got a goddamn chicken bone because the cat's a jackass. Chew chicken bone on freaking
Yeah, that's not
dog.
not good. Oh yeah, you're next. What's your question thing that you got?
Okay. Cure developmental delays, contagious classification. Okay. What does CP affect everyone the same way? Obviously not. Okay, no. Classification of affected by palsy is done by number of limbs involved. Quadriplegia, all four limbs are involved. Diplegia, all four limbs are involved. Both legs are more severely affected than the arms. Hemiplegia is one-sided, so you have two hemispheres of the brain. If it only affects one side, I think it's the opposite side of your brain, comes to the opposite side, but either one hemisphere of the brain is affected, so one side of the body is affected. This arm is usually more involved. The arm is usually more involved than the leg for hemiplegia. Triplegia, three limbs are involved, usually both arms and one leg. I wonder, honestly, I ask a question like, why is that a thing? Monoplegia, only one limb's affected, usually an arm. Have palsy and only one limb. I'm diplegia. That's such a weird concept to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have the spastic diplegia, so I deal with it like mostly in my legs. And I recently saw a specialist that handles aging with cerebral palsy and kind of what that entails a little bit.
Mm.
And what was funny is that she was like, "So when you get up, do you normally use your left hand to help you get up?" And I was like, you know what? I don't know. And I do. I didn't notice it because like when you grow up with something, you don't notice that you do it all the time. But I
You
like
know.
now that I actually observe and I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I do use my arm to get up all the time and balance myself when I'm getting up. And she initially was going to change it to triplegia for me
Mm.
because my arm, I did let her know that like when I get too cold or when I get tired, usually it happens like later in the evening. If I go to get up or I'm like moving around, and I'm tired or I'm cold, my arm will do the like raptor arm where I will just like pull my arm up like that to my chest, and it'll just kind of I have to actually focus on unstiffening my arm and getting it to go back to normal. But yeah, but she decided not to do that because there's not really enough spasticity in my arm on its own, and that's only when I get tired. And I think that's also fairly common as well. Like you get that when you're tired and stuff, don't you? Like where you get
Well,
the
yeah,
your
well,
arm
people
kind of
naturally favor one side of the body. And for
no no
me,
no
like me going
well no
upstairs, this
yeah
arm tightens up because I use my left arm more to hold myself up to like the banisters
yeah
always on the left side. So when I
yeah
go up, I notice that and I'm really struggling, I'm really tired. This side will tighten right up as I'm hauling myself up the stairs. It will actually do that, and I'll
yeah
have to look down, think about it, and put my arm back out again. But like the palsy grip, as I like to call it, where you just got a hand and you're holding something in the crook of your arm, right? That's usually how I hold things going up and down stairs because
oh yeah
yeah, it's for some reason it's so much muscles are working just to go up the stairs, everything tightens up. no matter what I'm doing. So
I do have that issue with stairs a little bit, not a whole lot, but most of the time I don't care. I have difficulty carrying stuff downstairs. Stairs isn't as much of an issue because I can kind of drag it behind me depending on what
yeah,
it is. But when I carry something down, I basically like I low scoot. Like I don't butt scoot. I'm still on my feet, but I will like hunch over and then just kind of walk. Like it's very weird to explain. Like I will basically just be like hunched over like this while carrying something and going down the stairs like this. So that way I feel like I'm not going to fall that way. But most of the time I have help with getting stuff up and down the steps. So it's not too big of a deal for me.
usually butt scoot. If it's too heavy and I'm leaning forward and I don't have a banister, I'm not going to do it because like any movement forward is just terrifying, especially standing upstairs. Baskets. I don't know if any grocery store of yours has those baskets with the black handles, fabric handles on them.
Yeah.
But I fill
No,
those with the thing I need, and then I butt scoot down the stairs the whole way, and that's how I can get large items down by myself.
That's a good idea. Now, I like to use totes because I can just like nudge those down the steps with my foot, and I can just like before I even get on the steps, I can just kind of kick it down the steps and it'll just slide. So that is one method that I do use if I'm stuck having to move stuff on my own. But yeah, I didn't realize how much I was like using my left arm to get up and balance myself until she actually said something, and I got home and I started like looking at it, and I was like, oh, I do this a lot actually. But yeah, no, the doctor was really nice. I go back to see her in like 3 months. She gave me a medication to help with the spasticity, but it does cause potential side effects with your liver. So I'm still reluctant because you have to take it a very specific way, and then you have to get blood work done monthly. So I'm still like she said it would be safe for me. I want to be clear that she said it would be safe for me, that I didn't exhibit any signs with my liver that would cause concern before starting it or anything like that. But I am still nervous about that because it involves my liver and I
Yeah,
need my liver. I don't know. Well, because also I was on gabapentin, and then there was that recent thing with gabapentin where it came out that it's like, what was the percentage change? I'm going to look that up real quick. It contributes to dementia and Alzheimer's. Yes, GABA.
God, to solve spasticity and then get consecutive organ failure. Yeah, great trade off.
Yeah, and I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't listen to the doctors. I'm not saying don't take medication they prescribe. I'm not saying to distrust science or medical, like completely
That's a
opposite. Like
blunder.
you should always talk to your doctor. You should always seek out treatments that are going to help and stuff like that. I am just personally reluctant because of the liver thing, and that kind of scares me personally. So I was going to give it a bit before I start taking it. Like I'm going to try to be more active first and see if that helps with the spasticity. And if that is still not helping, then I will start taking the medication. Let's see.
A good stretching regime in
I forget
the
what
screaming time. That's what I call it.
let's see. Gabapentin being linked to increased risk of dementia. Let me see hold on. Let me see, give me a second here. Regular gabapentin use appeared to increase risk of dementia by 29% and mild cognitive impairment, MCI, by 85%. Researchers reported July 10th in the journal Regional Anesthesia and Pain Medicine. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that, but I'm going to leave the link in the description below just so that you guys have that for that source. I don't like to quote things and not leave a source, especially when it comes to medical stuff, scientific stuff. I really don't like to just give a number and then not give anything to back that up. I feel like there's too much of that as it is. And by all means, if you guys see different information, let us know, because I am not about misinforming people. Like this whole podcast is meant to educate people and provide a community and support network. And we definitely don't want to be giving any misinformation. So I can always go back and correct stuff later if need be. But yeah.
Let's learn together, team.
And but yeah, so there is that risk with gabapentin. I stopped taking gabapentin before that due to an adverse side effect that I had that doesn't happen to everybody. So I'm not really going to go into that because it was kind of a lot for me. But I stopped taking gabapentin, and then shortly after I stopped taking it, that's when that study came out, and I was like, oh, good thing I stopped taking it. Because I already have ADHD, and if you have ADHD, you're also at an increased risk. And I'm like, I'm just gonna, my brain, when I hit like 65, is probably just gonna erase everything. Like, that's a scary thought. I don't, oh my God.
I panic
Um,
about that all the
but
time, and it's just like at one point I just gotta start doing those word puzzles that my grandpa did and made him cognitive till he's like 98. Just do those
oh
every
yeah,
single day. Newspaper,
like,
crosswords.
like, well, there's word puzzles, there's crosswords, there's those puzzle apps and stuff that you can download. There's a lot of stuff you can do to kind of help with keep that cognitive function going, like reading a lot, things like that go a long way. But yeah, also, oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to start too, is maybe having us do book reviews on disability books. So like us getting a book written by somebody about that has a disability, about said disability or what have you, and kind of giving reviews on that, just so that because I've noticed a lot of people are starting with Amazon and with having the ability to kind of self-publish. A lot of people are sharing their stories more often. A lot of people are writing like more educational style books on their disability. You know, growing up, there wasn't kids' books on disability. You know, I just existed with my disability. There wasn't anything to make me feel, um, I guess, seen in a way that like other kids are seen or can relate, or like I didn't have a character or person I could relate to as far as books goes. But I noticed like now that's becoming more of a thing. So I definitely want to look into that. What do you guys think about us doing a channel for like book reviews and stuff like that? Let us know what you think. That's something I
Or
definitely want to get
video
feedback
games.
on before we. Yeah.
Video
Oh yeah,
games
we were also going to look
with this
into video games as well.
with characters that have handicaps. There's this one. It's just like it's like a AIs take over everything, and everyone has like exosuit exoskeletons and stuff like that. This guy goes get a job and it gets an exoskeleton attached to him, but for some reason he's unaffected by the virus. It takes over everyone's exoskeleton, and the first instance, and I was like raving about this when playing this, is that he gets there in a wheelchair, and you got to go through like the company subway system that you got there, and up to the company like their display area, and welcome to da da da, and you go through the whole thing, and you go up to the emergency surgery, and you get your exoskeleton attached. The entire way, it's clear like he's disabled, and I'm I got more joy than I should have rolling a wheelchair through a subway station in a corporate office than I should
Yeah.
have, just because like not many characters are legitimately disabled. I mean, of course, you got
Yeah.
superhuman strength after you got the exoskeleton attached, but I mean, that's every person with a disability's dream. Just boom,
Yeah. Well,
science.
I think that'll get better as time goes on and as more games develop, because people are starting to be more inclusive. And it's not even necessarily about, well, it is about inclusivity, but it's also about representation. It's about being seen for your existence. So like yeah, one of the things that I like to clarify a lot, because people don't understand this, like you are, and it's not that they don't understand, but it's hard for people to separate the two. So you are not your disability. You have a disability, and there's a very big difference, you know, because you know you still have hobbies and friends and stuff you like to do, stuff you enjoy. You have your own personality that has nothing to do with you being disabled. Now, I'm not saying that you being disabled doesn't affect that. It doesn't, like, of course, being disabled is going to limit what you can and can't do. I'm not going to go hike Mount Everest. I'm not going to run like 3 miles a day. I'm not going to like do anything like physically crazy. I might ride a bike, like, or I might ride a scooter, but I'm not doing like marathons or anything crazy like that. But like, yes, it affects my hobbies, but it doesn't affect who I am at the core as a person. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people do tend to get hung up on that. And I think that causes some issues as well among like how we feel about ourselves, or how like we can perceive something like what a family member says or like what they recommend. We can maybe perceive that in a negative light. You know what I mean?
I think I can have that as a question. How do you think? Well, honestly, how was your experience, and what do you think cerebral palsy affects your life in or out there? And like Sharon was saying about it not defining you, and I take a mixed approach to that, where I don't know existence of cerebral palsy, right? Like a benefit we get, I think, is the fact that we're born with it. It just is. We just
Yeah.
are, right? At least
Yeah.
by the time we're aware. People who develop disability later in life, they have different difficulties adjusting because they know what it is to be abled. I'm not going to use normal because there's no such thing as normal. It's statistic average. But the abled, like I've seen a lot of them just be severely depressed because they know what it is to be able. We don't. We dream of being superheroes. We dream of doing other stuff. I wouldn't say stop yourself from doing the things that everyone else does. Just be aware that it takes you longer. You need better planning. I've gone hiking. I've climbed cliffs above oceans. I've been 5 feet from bears and wolves and fishing in rapids and stuff. My dad, it took me longer to get there. I took the shorter hiking route. I deal with dogs and animals and other stuff. I know a guy I was talking to on on one of our pages who was a volunteer fireman, and then he was going into horse whispering, right? I don't know what level of Palsy he has, but it was something he wanted to discuss on our page and with us.
What an odd career change. Like, I'm not, no, props to him. I just want to be clear, props to him. But it's just such
I
a
know,
dramatic
right?
shift that I'm like, what? Like,
And I don't know if it's like everyone with palsy or just different levels of palsy, but I also have such a scatter shot of skills and assess because I just kind of threw myself at anything that I was at someone actually let me do. I think another problem
yeah,
is
man,
people
it's a matter.
letting us do
Yeah, yeah,
stuff is I don't know. There's this thing where able people feel sorry for us and then either go, you don't need to do that, or no, I don't want to see you struggle, or it's kind of like the people when everyone I ever see watch when I know I'm walking difficult goes, "Do you need help?" Right?
yeah,
And the last meeting I went to, I was telling you about. I went up to publicly speak, and 5 different people are like, "Oh no, don't rush. Oh no, don't rush. Oh no, don't rush." I'm like, "No, no, no. I'm not rushing. This just looks like I'm rushing because it looks like I'm trying to struggle through quicksand." Right?
yeah.
Right? And they're all being nice and stuff like that, but it's just the attitude and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah. Well,
I
I
would
mean,
not.
I understand because the thing is, like, people are worried that you're gonna injure yourself. Like, I definitely understand where people are coming from with that level of concern. But at the same time, it is frustrating. Like it's two sides of a coin, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Like I get it, but at the same time, it is a little frustrating sometimes. Yeah.
but like the biggest benefit, I think that my attitude changed is I had uncles and fathers and aunts and my mother who basically went, "Yeah, it's hard, but you'll get there." Or
Yeah.
other people who aren't family would be like, "Oh, what if it's like, no, no, he wants to be there. Just you'll get a bit out there. Come on, Ty, pull yourself
Yeah.
with your arms." Right? Like it was more appreciative having adults who watched me and put out hands if I stumbled, but stopped if I kept climbing. Like they would catch me, they would let me struggle up because learning to struggle made me a stronger person through endurance and just sheer will than it would be if everyone was like, "Oh, poor baby, I will help you do task."
I do wonder how many of us are stubborn as because I am extremely stubborn to the point where does cause issues every now and then. But like once I set my mind on something, I'm gonna do everything I can to make it happen. I've also noticed that like personality wise, I've become a bit of a perfectionist. So I'm not saying that cerebral palsy doesn't affect your personality. I'm just saying that you have a personality that's completely separate from your disability. So like as far as like cerebral palsy, I wouldn't say it necessarily affects my personality, but I do things to where I am very detail oriented, very picky, very like focused and nitpicky on everything. Like I will spend hours or sometimes days going over videos and then I will like analyze and then sometimes I'll still even notice mistakes that I've left in the video and stuff like that and stuff that I forget to like fix. But like I'm not saying that it doesn't affect like the things that you do. Obviously it does. That's kind of the whole point. But I feel like for me, being that meticulous in part is because of you feel like you have to show people that you are worth being able to stick around, especially in a career environment. You have to, like, okay, I can't keep up with everybody else, but I can be extremely detail oriented and I can be meticulous and I can be I can be a perfectionist. And I feel like for me, at least, that comes from years of feeling the need to kind of prove my self worth to be part of the team. It's something that I've realized now that is more just kind of related to that. And there are things that like with the hobbies and stuff, it is a matter of because you're physically impaired, it's a matter of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's a trial and error thing. So it's a matter of seeing if you can physically handle something that you like doing, and then if you can consistently do it enough that you want to keep it as a hobby. I have ADHD, so hobbies kind of come and go for me. So,
I
but yeah, like
I find like also a different way because it's like we can't probably do another thing, but sometimes some skills we're going to be the best person in the world, but we can be the best person with cerebral palsy that has that skill. But then it's also talking meticulous and it's things like where it affects our daily life, where I have to have my clothes in a certain spot, I have to have my shoes in a certain spot, I have to have my utensils in a certain spot, I have to have to make me have an adult life and to get things on time and not struggle. And so then this is a struggle I have with roommates and all that is where they'll design a room or like the kitchen or the shoe room or whatever in a way that's accessible for them. But that takes me twice as long to get my hat, my coat, my stuff and get out the
yeah,
door. Right. So I've
yeah,
adapted to be very particular on where my coat, my shoes, my coat, my food, things I can grab, not really going up to get things, you know. So
yeah,
and because of that, I've developed how to design rooms and home decor and other things like that, where I set it specifically for my ease of access related to my palsy, and that's affected how I design things and stuff. And I get very irritated when people are like, "Well, this work. Well, obviously this works. Just try it." I'm like, it's. I need to get a chair to get that. That's could take me 5 minutes to get up there. It's
yeah,
not easy for
yeah.
you. It's easy for me. It's easy for you. Yes, and then everyone's like, "You're very specific. You're very stubborn." Is I've got
Dude,
to be stubborn for
you,
myself. Just getting
I
places.
yeah, like I'll use a step like if there's stuff high up, I don't know why this made me think of that, but like if there's stuff like high up in the kitchen, I will use a step ladder, but I hate it. It makes me feel like I am tilted. It makes me feel like I'm standing like this at an angle and I hate it. I can balance on it, but I when I get down from it, I have to be very careful as to not like fall, which I mean everyone's like, a lot of this like sounds dangerous or you fall a lot. Like, yeah, we are a fall risk. Like, we are a fall risk. No,
If that had
like,
any statement
oh
was
yeah,
truer,
oh yeah. Speaking of fall risk, I ate a pallet today. One of those wooden pallets that
just got your fiber
stores
in,
use
just
to
ate the whole
stock
thing.
stuff. Yeah, I was in a store and I was walking and it caught my ankle. And I don't even know why they had it in the middle of the aisle, but I fell and I hit the thing like really freaking hard, busted up my knee. My knee is okay, nothing's broken, but it took me a good minute to get up off this pallet. And the lady comes out of the room. She was in like a utility room or whatever. And she's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think so. Y'all might want to put a sign there or something." Cause like I didn't see the stupid thing. I was just walking and then next
Some
thing I know,
traffic
I
cones,
trip right into
perhaps.
it. Yeah. Or like one of those wet floor signs, like something in front of it, just so that people don't cause my foot went right into like the side of it where that, like the gap is. And then I just kept, and yeah, but yeah, falling just happens. So like most of the time when I fall, people are like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" As long as I can still get up and nothing is broken, I try not to make it like a big issue because it just happens. It's like one of the first things you learn with cerebral palsy is like how to fall or how to at least get used to falling
Oh,
because it's such a yeah.
let's question. What are some of the skills you think you've developed having cerebral palsy? I think I have an ability to determine the structure and the texture and the walkability of certain environments. I can just look at something and know it's going to be slippery, slidey, rocks under my feet, and I can instantly judge. I live above the equatorial line, so I deal with snow and ice. I can recognize via sight specific types of ice within an environment. Types of snow will lead to a hardened impact underneath, which leads to smooth ice. I step down on that, my foot melts the initial snow, and then suddenly there is nothing but smooth ice. I do not like certain environmental effects. Rain during winter and ice rain, absolutely hate. Every single surface around me will just be nothing but the smoothest ice. Okay. So I instantly will know seeing certain temperature, feeling certain temperature, and seeing rain. No, I will not leave for about like a few days until the temperature changes because I cannot leave outside my house. It's just, shoot.
Yeah. Well, that's how I am too, and of course, naturally, I've fallen on ice a few times. I am surprised I have not split my head open like an omelet yet with the amount of times I've fallen in my life. Luck, I don't know. My body is instantly like, keep your head up as soon as I fall, because it's like it happens so much. But during the winter, I don't really go outside unless we have to. Like unless we have to go grocery shopping or unless we have to absolutely do something. I am just like, you know what? I'll stay inside. Because I don't like dealing with the cold. It hurts. I get stiff. I really ought to have a disability plaque like made for me so that when it drives me to get like groceries or whatever, when my partner drives me to go to places I need to, so that we can like kind of at least he can
Are
drop me
closer?
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I got
Well,
all my friends ganged up on me and made me get mine so they could drive me places. I
well,
kept
see,
like, I could get it later.
I haven't got one yet because I only really deal with it during the winter. And so again, there's this thing of like, because of society and expectations, and somebody might need that spot more than me. And it's one of those
I
things like, I don't want to say I feel bad about it, but at the same time, I don't feel good about it. Like, you know
You're
what I mean?
hyper
Like
aware.
it's,
You're hyper aware.
yeah.
I honestly, I encountered the same thing. It's this like thing where I won't accept help, but then now like I accept help, like just take help. I got
Well, see
also
that,
the fact I'm empathic. That I'm like, well, it makes other people feel good. They help me, even though I know I will get up this eventually. If someone wants to take my bag for me, well, it helps them, and I end up being an old lady going, "Thank you, Sonny Jim. Here's a mint." Like, and it makes them feel good.
yeah.
I get to be the person that they can have their good feelings of the day, whatever. But like honestly, take disabled things and when needed. I mean, it literally is like a woman who's pregnant not taking a pregnancy seat in a bus, right? Oh, getting on. You don't use buses, do you?
No, so our bus system really freaking sucks. So our bus system runs up until about like 6 or 7 p.m. It doesn't run very late at all, and it runs on hour increments. So I can get the bus. Like when I used to take the bus, I would only do one or two things for that day. Otherwise, I would miss the bus and not be able to get back home. And our buses run to where it's an hour increment. So depending on when your bus gets to the station, you might have to wait half hour to an hour for the next bus, and then you're going to be on that next bus for half an hour to an hour depending on what route you need to take. So like one or two tasks and take an it's like an all day thing. And also I've ran into a few unsavory people on the bus, I should say, that have caused issues for me. So I am very thankful that my partner is able to drive me places. I'm very thankful that as long as he is feeling well enough to drive me places, he will. So like if like I could ask to go to like Speedway at like 2 in the morning just because I want something to drink, and he would do it. So he doesn't like complain about it at all, which is great. I know not a lot of people have people in their life that at the very least won't complain about having to help them out. So especially when it comes to driving, because a lot of people don't like driving, and I kind of get that. But yeah, I haven't taken the bus in years because it's so awful. Like it's
So
terrible.
I live in a city with a major subway system and train bus system. A lot of modern buses. I live in the main capital of my province, actually. Uh, There's a weird effect when I walk in, and I will not think I'm walking that bad, but then people will just get out of their seats, out of the disabled seats in the front for me. They'll pat like I'm not obviously, but I'm like a constant pregnant woman where we're like, oh, yes, dearie, sit down in a nice seat. And bus drivers
One
will be like,
thing,
are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? Can I start the bus? Of course, they haven't checked, and I've gone whoa, and then had to grab
oh,
stuff
I
because bus
hate
finally
that.
starts moving.
Yeah, I've had that happen
Uh,
too. Yeah, you know what's funny is because like a lot of elderly people take our bus because they may not be able to drive for like one reason or another. But and with the time frames and stuff, like it's just more. It doesn't cater to those that have your typical 9 to 5 job or your evening shift and stuff like that. And that's also one of the main problems I had with it is like when I had to work in office, it was either show up really early for my shift or for an interview. One place I had an interview and I showed up like half an hour early, and they were like, "What is she doing here?" Like, just wait. Actually, no, it was an hour. I showed up like an hour early, and I just sat there, and to the point where like security came out and was like, "What is she doing here?" And they were like, "Oh, she's here for an interview." And I was like extremely early. I did end up getting the job. I was with the company for 3 years. Love them, still love them. I would
let's
100% go
hire her.
back
She's
again if I
punctual.
could, but Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. She's definitely on time. And, also with the ADHD, I've always been paranoid about being late for stuff. I typically, unless I'm dealing with, like, health stuff, I know you're giving me that look because I've been late a lot and I've been canceling a lot, so I know you're giving me that look, but as long as I'm physically able to, I will show up early, okay? How long, how long was I like, "Hey, you're late," for, like, the first, like, few weeks of us doing this?
So it's just getting a pattern down. But
Yeah.
I definitely have that anxiety when it comes to like work stuff because with palsy, you could be mentally, I'm a normal person, but that doesn't
Yeah.
that doesn't like outcome the actual physical your physical reality, and that's like that
Yeah.
discrepancy is hard to do. So like I'm gonna leave like when everyone out like everyone else leaves. No, that's not a thing. You
Yeah,
can't
you gotta
leave
leave
5 minutes
extra
and make it
early.
there rush. You're going to trip, smash your knees, or you're gonna be late. So many
Yeah.
jobs I've got problems because I've been late all the times because I didn't call in and then it was icy and I fell and I didn't call in. I was like, if I can just rush. I'm like, your rush is like 2 hours compared to someone else's half an hour
Yeah.
of running there. Like it's just not a
Yeah.
thing. And I've had to like develop time to like, no, I'm going to leave early because the anxiety of me being late sucks more than me just having a coffee and walking
Yeah.
there an hour early.
Yeah. Well, I would always like and there were jobs that I did have to walk to, and I would always leave like an hour and a half early, even though I only knew it would take me like 20 minutes to like 20 or 30 minutes to walk there max, but I would still leave early because sometimes my legs would get tired and I'd have to stop and rest. And this is like a job that was like maybe only a mile. So it wasn't even that far. But yeah, but I forgot what I was saying. Back to what I was saying. Like there's a lot of elderly people that take our bus system because it doesn't really cater to your typical like job structure, and that's basically more for just like elderly and disabled and stuff like that. But even then I've had like elderly people like when I'm having a good day and I'm not super stiff or whatever and people don't tell and until I'm like walking a good bit around them, which you don't walk around on the bus. I'm
Yep.
normally like sitting down or like, but like I would get elderly lady that would like kind of eyeball me because I would be in the front seat. And there were a lot of times I would get up and move for them. Like if somebody came in and they were like on a walker or they obviously needed the seat more than I did, of course I'm going to get up. I'm not going to like I will go to another seat. And a lot of times I wouldn't need to even sit in that seat for very long. I would just have to be able to take a break. So I would get on the bus and so I'd have to take a break from standing. I'd get on the bus and I would sit down for a little bit. But then as soon as somebody else came on that had like a walker or obviously had more difficulty moving than what I did, I would, immediately get up and give them the seat. And then one time I had a lady that she was carrying like a heavy bag of cat food. And where I live, there's like the whole like help your elderly mentality, which of course, you should help your elderly and whatnot. But this lady gave me like the dirtiest look because I didn't help her carry this like 30-pound bag of cat food that she purchased, that she was just walking down the street and I saw her struggle with it a bit, but I didn't offer and she gave me like a really dirty look. But like I can't lift it. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I didn't buy the bag of cat food. I didn't buy you could have got one of them small, like, 5-pound bag. I didn't buy it. Like, I would happily help you if, like, I could, but I can't.
We've got so many tie tales related to this several times sitting there. But again, I talk like I'm a normal guy, which is what is that thing? Sitting down,
Yeah.
right? Someone will get in with a wheelchair and the seats in at least in my city, I don't know if every city has the same style of bus, but the seats pull up and then you get to put a wheelchair there and then this big thing with a hook comes out, hooks onto the wheelchair on two different directions with elastics to hold it in place. And I've got told sitting in the other there's a side seat. This one flies up, and then the flies up against the wall of the bus. So this one's forward, this one's sideways. This one pops up for the wheelchair. This one can pop up for more room for the wheelchair. I'm sitting on this one. People go, "This is for disabled people," and I'm like, just 5 seconds for it to click in my head. Wait, I'm disabled people. No, I have palsy. I belong here, right? And they go,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry, and they'll apologize, but it's like they can't they can't tell, and it's like if you're obviously pregnant or usually it's my walking cane. It's good. I love the wheelchair aspect and my wheelchair. People will talk to you on the bus. Like especially when they're trapped with you. They're trapped with you. And the opposite side. And babies, strollers go the opposite side of me. I love being in a wheelchair, the bus in my wheelchair, because strollers will always go beside me because it's for strollers and wheelchairs. And the baby, and babies be like,
Oh, they just like, what is this? I
why are
have
you in
never
your own
seen,
stroller?
yeah, I have never seen anything like this. This is my first experience seeing a person. You mean you can get wheels? I don't have to walk? No.
Right? It's like,
um,
wait,
but
is he just a big
yeah.
baby?
Oh god, yeah. Yeah. So like our bus system, I haven't taken our bus system in forever. I'm pretty sure they do have setups like that. Most places do. But like one thing that I hate is like people have gotten irritated about like the ramp needing to be put down for other
What?
people. Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry someone's in a wheelchair or a walker and they need the ramp put down for them." Like get a car. Like not to be that person, but like why are you complaining that somebody has to take some extra time to get on the bus?
That
Like,
really doesn't register in my brain to even
people,
care about.
I,
like,
I don't know.
excuse
Like, where,
me? Take a
yeah,
flying hike, dude. Like, what?
yeah. Some people where I live really, really suck and they're not understanding. But for the most part, our community is not that bad. But you just get the occasional people that like really suck. But yeah, I don't know. I do deal with and I guess this is something that more of those of us that deal with milder cases kind of deal with. And, we don't have the intent to make anybody feel bad
Mm.
or feel worse about their situation if it's a more severe form of cerebral palsy than what we have. We are just speaking on our experiences. So please don't feel bad when we're sharing our stories. It's just, it's our story. And, of course, it's going to be different than everybody else's story. I don't know. One thing that I really struggle with is like, and I think it's because I was born with cerebral palsy and I've dealt with it so long that I will forget sometimes that I am disabled. I will forget sometimes that I can't do this or that, and then I'll go to do something and then I'll realize, oh, yeah, this is a problem. I can't do this because of my disability. Or like I'll forget that stuff that I can't do is stuff that I can't do because of my disability. It's a very odd thing with my brain, and I think it's just a matter of I've grown up with it and I've lived with it, and that's all I know. So I think it's just kind of a natural thing for my brain. I don't know how often others deal with that. And again, and this is why I apologize beforehand because I don't want people to be like, "What does she mean that she can forget about her disability? What the?" I don't want anybody to like take it that way. We fully recognize that there are people with more severe forms of cerebral palsy, and we fully recognize that others aren't going to be able to have the same issues that we have, and that there are issues that are going to be worse off, for a manner of speaking. We are not discounting that. We're not trying to make anybody feel bad about that or anything to that effect. So, I apologize if that came off the wrong way, but we don't intend for it to come off in like a negative way, when we're like sharing our
I
viewpoints on stuff.
think you're over worrying about that.
I
Honestly,
am
like,
because
there's
I don't want to like offend somebody. I don't want to like offend anybody, and more importantly, with what we're doing, I don't want to make anybody feel like they don't belong here. I don't want to make
oh
anybody
yeah,
feel
but
like they don't belong in the community because they have like worse cerebral palsy or like whatever.
more blatant, obvious, right? But like
Yeah,
again, like we're the milds, not the spicies. But
yeah,
even then, like, I'm pretty sure there are days even people with like worse cerebral palsy have it's like, well, I try to do something and then I get frustrated because I can't do it. And then for me, honestly, it's the awareness of others because I will be going along. And again, to me, I feel like I'm normal. The way my vision walks when I walk, that's normal to me. But then I'll
yeah,
see myself in a mirror, right? Or I will notice people watch me struggle up the stairs for a very long period of time and suddenly be
dude.
very aware how long I'm taking doing it. Suddenly,
You know,
out of the blue. It's very, I don't know if
dude. You
true
know what
English.
I hate? You know what I hate is when I am walking into a store and I catch myself in the sliding doors. I hate that. So like if when like every
I do
single
not
time I
move
can
fast
see
enough
my
for rotating
reflection,
doors.
I don't like rotating doors. They make me feel claustrophobic. I feel so like claustrophobic in those and I can't get out of them fast enough. I don't like them. They freak me out. But like anytime I walk up to like an automated door at like Walmart or Kroger or Meijer or wherever, whenever I see my reflection, it always throws me off. And then I'll have to remind myself to do the heel toe thing,
Ugh.
or I'll have to like or sometimes I won't even realize that I'm like walking with my arm up and I have to remind myself to put my arm down and I have to actively focus on things. And that's another weird thing that I notice about with cerebral palsy, at least for me. I can walk on my heels and I can make sure that my arm's not folding up, but I have to put so much energy
Focused.
and actively thinking about it and staying focused.
So much focus.
It's weird, isn't it? Like you have to focus so much just to get your body to like
Yeah, for
I
me,
have
it's
to
like pulling
I
the
have
stomach, pulling the butt, pull the hips forward, and then like pull the shoulders back. Otherwise, it's like this barrel chested walk forward, catching myself as I fall thing, and then I have to
yeah.
mentally
And
put my chest forward. So
And when I
walk
say it's
forward.
something you have to actively focus on, what I mean by that is I have to actively think heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe the entire time I'm walking. Or I have to actively think, put your arm down, try not to let it fold up, put your arm down, try not to let it fold up. And I have to like over and over and over. Like you have to actively focus on it to be able to get your body to do what it wants. And I deal with that during spasms too, especially when it's cold, like where my body will fold in and I have to actively focus to get my muscles to get that spasticity to reduce. But yeah, that's something I've always found weird. Or like you get it too when you're holding stuff, right? Because we talked about this a
Yeah,
while
I'll
back.
just
Like
drop
when I
stuff out of the blue.
if I am holding stuff, so like here's my cup. If I'm holding this, I always double check to ask people if they have it before I let go of it. And I have to focus the entire time I'm holding this. If I'm walking, I have to focus on my grip and on holding it. And there have been times where I have spilled coffee on a coworker. Jesse, I am so sorry. I don't know if you're still like following my Facebook or if you'll ever see this or whatever, but I am sorry for dumping iced coffee on you. I will never. That keeps me up at night. I want you to know that keeps me up at night.
She will find your
Because
number on your deathbed and call up, be like, "Sorry for the coffee." Click.
oh my God. I was mortified. Okay, so this girl was nice enough. She would she would go out of her way to pick me up for work so I didn't have to walk. Like we would carpool all the time and I would just give her a little bit of gas money and she would just pick me up like every day and most of the time she would be early and stuff. And I felt so bad. I dumped the coffee on her. I didn't even just dump the coffee on her. It was dumped on her in her car. In her car. So that made it worse because now there's coffee all over her and all over her car. It was, oh my God,
You want to
mortified.
know my embarrassing story? So I have a friend. I go to his birthday party every year. It's near our bar avenue, and I take my scooter. There's this one crack in front of the bar, and every birthday, I only ever hang out with his birthday, like our Facebook friends. Every birthday, I'll run up. He'll watch me run up. My wheel will catch the crack, and I'll just eat the pavement. And it's
Ooh,
happened every birthday. And lately, I just walk and go, "Yep, typical." Per usual, every birthday, man. Your birthday. I gotta eat the pavement in front of you. And like, it's just a joke now. I just find it funny because I'm like, I try to avoid it and I'll just go like follow my
yeah.
scooter and I hit the ground and it's every one of his birthdays. And now it's just like, I ate the embarrassment and now I'm just like, well, what you gonna do? And that's where my positivity comes from.
Yeah. You know what I hate is when you're walking and then you just trip over your own fucking feet.
Oh,
Like
God, I don't know if my
nothing's
shoelace
even
is
there.
down or
No,
something.
it the way my body is with it, it's like if I were to accidentally bump into a curb, but nothing is there. My body's like, hey, let's just stop functioning. And
Just
I'm like,
some ants
what am
drop
I
a
even
toothpick in my
tripping on?
path and just,
Oh my God. No, it's terrible because I'm like the way my body reacts is like similar to like if you were to trip on a curb, but I'm like there's nothing there. Why?
or
There's
like it's
nothing
the
for me to
tiniest
even trip
crack
on.
that just developed
Yeah.
that just developed and it's like, oh, I can make that. And your brain doesn't
Yeah.
register it, so it doesn't lift it up the 1 extra inch, the half inch it can do. So you hit it
Yeah.
and then just that 1 second resistance makes you go, oh no, and then
Yeah. Your
like
weak foot drops too early and now you're screwed. Like you're tumbling
uh
down.
and like
And
people are like, why you look down when you walk? It's like, because my toes catch a toothpick and I'm done for. And
yeah.
then now I develop a taste for
Dude,
shoes because I have to
I got asked
like what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I do the same thing for the most part, minus, tripping over the pallet. See, the pallet story is why I normally do that. Okay, when I don't do it as much now because I don't really go out as often. I don't really, but like when I was in school and I was out every day and I had to walk through the hallways, I would constantly look down when I walked, and people would be like, "Why are you looking down?" And I'm like, "Because I will eat this floor if I don't. I will eat the floor if I don't look down at where my feet are going." Um,
For some reason, like,
yeah,
you get one of those
that's
really old or those really fancy built rich buildings where it's like an insurance firm or something, and then the floor is
yeah,
just some weird tile stuff, and then some of it's like weirdly like textured, and then it's like, well, this is fancy. It was like, well, thank you. Now this large tile with indent now has triple indents for me every tile in your front lobby. That's great. It's just great. How sometimes
yeah.
infrastructure does is just looks like a minefield.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, but there's, like, a lot of little things like that that I tend to forget is because of the cerebral palsy, and again, I think it's just because, like, I've lived with it for so long that, that is my normal, My normal is I'm a klutz and I trip over stuff or I lose balance easy. My normal is I'm a klutz, like, I just,
It's so
like
normal. Summer starts when I get my first bleeding elbow,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and then
I
and then
have
the
I have
abled or
torn up my
normal will just be like, "Why are you bleeding? Why are you bleeding? You should have Band-Aid." I'm like,
oh,
"Ah,
yeah.
rub, it'll be fine." Like
Yeah. So I have eaten cement so hard that I had like a giant scab that took up like most of my chin for like 2 weeks. Yeah, that really hurt. My head somehow has been able to get itself out of the way almost every time. There are times where like I don't always catch myself with my hands. So like I'll just go down and my hands will be like just kind of in front, but like they won't be out to like they'll just kind of nah. So like now it's like I'm not catching myself as much as I was, but again,
eh.
that's also an age thing. And again, that is in part because I myself am not active enough as I should be. With this disability, you do have to be active. Otherwise, you run into situations where you are falling more often, you're off balance more often, you're dealing with all kinds of stuff like that. And I think what would be good for us to do is do like a physical therapy video at some point. I don't know when we'll do that, but like I think that would be interesting for people to see. I
Oh,
got
it's just
yelled
like
at
my
in gym.
sister-in-law stretch me, you just hear
Dude,
the screams.
dude, I got yelled at in gym class because I couldn't touch my toes. I'm like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm sorry I can't touch my
Excuse
toes.
me? It's that time for the
Yeah,
other kid to come and grab my arms and bend me, and some girls laugh because I'm going, "Eek," as like it's hurting. Like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
going with kids, dealing with kids, it's seriously uh, like my girlfriend's daughter. It's like she's shy with me, shy with me. Do you want to hurt me? She's like, yes. Stretch me right now. Sit your little toddler weight in my neck. Kids think it's hilarious. They think it's hilarious. Kids want to stretch me because I make such funny noises and like it helps. And like two little hands grab my wrist and pull my arm forward or touch my toes, and I just go,
It
and
might
they think
sounds
it's
like.
hilarious.
Are you sure you're not going too hard on yourself, dude? Because like you're not. It's not supposed to hurt like that. It's supposed to stretch. It ain't supposed to like hurt like that. Now I'm not saying my stretches don't hurt. Like they hurt, but I'm not screaming. I think you might be doing a bit too much. I think you might be
I
doing a bit
think
too
I'm
much, man. You
going
might need to pay.
extreme, Sharon.
Yeah. Oh, you need to pace yourself, my dude. You need to pace yourself.
400 for 100 turbines. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, also, like, if you're doing too much, you can cause more damage. You can cause more harm than good. So,
Well,
like, you
yeah, but I'm
shouldn't be
just so tired.
screaming. It should. Well, yeah. Obviously, we are, but like, I don't know, man. Maybe do like a hot soak before you stretch yourself. Maybe that'll work better. Like, cook yourself before you stretch yourself.
Nice. Well, mostly one thing I find helpful is people who are helpful to stretch me. So body weight, right? People who know. My sister-in-law knows. We've been friends for decades. So at this point, so like she
Yeah.
knows she has to teach my girlfriend actually how to do it. My girlfriend's too gentle. She doesn't want to hurt me. But I'm like, you gotta stretch me. I gotta be stretched. I am going to make a noise because anything beyond a 2 degree change in my
Yeah.
spine will hurt. Like it's
Yeah.
not
Like,
a stabbing, but it's like
yeah.
slow stretching of a tendon that is super compacted, and it's
Yeah.
just
Like,
it's
I'm
a
not. I'm
heat
not. I'm not
feel.
saying. I'm not saying that my stretching doesn't hurt. I'm just saying I'm not screaming. So I think you
Oh,
might be going a little. I think you're going a little too hard.
it's I don't know. Maybe this thing we should talk about in some episode, but like I almost
are you
get like a
stretching?
high afterwards.
Well, yeah, because your body releases like all those endorphins and shit from
Yeah.
like to kind of
So
counter that. Like, so like,
like
are you stretching every day? Yeah,
part of
I
the
was gonna
problem.
say I'm not. I am gonna be the last person that judges anyone on their physical therapy routine because I can't remember the last time I stretched, which again is why I'm holding off on trying that medication and I'm going to make myself be more active first because I'm not saying that like the medication isn't safe. I'm just saying that I would rather see if I can, do fix it on my own first by being more active like I should be. I think we're supposed to do like 2 hours of activity a day or some crap. I need to pay off my gym membership and start going to the gym again. Um,
No. You
yeah.
need to get a barbell set. You need to get one of those elastic bands they use
So,
for our therapy. And
oh
you
my
need
God. So
every time you sit down for anything, do 5 to 10 reps. And you have your coffee. Dude, I have this upper body regime. Like I've written down all the things. And when I get like I'm bored, I'm just staring at something. I'm like, I should work out. And it's started to help. It's just the stretching. So the stretching I can do
yeah,
myself. Otherwise, I need a partner because I need someone to pull in a certain direction. I can't even reach my toes when it's cold.
I have a Ziploc baggie that is full of elastic bands that I need to break out. I also want to buy a balance board. It's like 25 bucks on Amazon. I need to buy like a balance board and stuff like that to work on that. But my gym, the reason I like going to my gym is my gym has those water massage tables that like, I'm sure you've had experience with that. Like it's
I
like a
used one of those
massage
once.
chair, but it's
It was
water.
like a pavilion in the Mega Mall, and it's by both the candy stores. But there's like a setup of 4 water massage tables, and the
Yeah.
jets come out and like walk
Yeah.
out going, yeah,
Dude,
oh, that's
those do
good.
so good for my legs that like back when I was in high school, my mom used to take me to this tanning spot that had one of those beds and I would go there once a week and it would help my walking so much that when the place closed down, she tried to buy this water massage bed, but they wanted too much for it. They probably wanted like 7 or 8 for it or something like that. They probably like how much are those? How much are obviously it's going to be more expensive now. Let me see how much water.
Like I'm seeing an average of 2,000 to 4,000 per bed.
Oh, yeah, probably. Let's see. Water massage bed. Are these on Amazon? There's no way these are on Amazon. No, that's like a hairstyling thing. I want like an actual water massage bed thing.
One time I went to a
Okay,
professional.
okay. So, uh, yeah. So, okay. I did find a website that sells them, wellness space brands, but it's saying get a quote. And when they say get a quote, it's going to be like way up there. Hold up. There's this other site. I'm sorry, guys. I know you can skip forward if you don't want to listen to me do this crap.
So,
Yeah,
jingle
I don't
jingle.
know, but yeah. I would definitely do like a payment plan if I could find one that had like affordable payments because it helps so much. It also helps like with like the spasticity and everything like that. But yeah, I definitely need to start going to the gym more often and being more active. That is unfortunately for a lazy person such as myself, that is like the number one treatment of cerebral palsy is being active and keeping yourself moving. And that is the main thing that the doctor had recommended that I do because she said that her patients with cerebral palsy that are in their 60s, like 65 and over, like the ones that are moving well are the ones that are active every day and work out for a couple hours a day. And I'm like, I know I need to do that, but I'm so lazy and I really don't want to do that. So I'm going to start. I need to keep like an active schedule. I'm gonna start, guys, and I'm telling everybody so they can hold me to it. So I will start exercising more. But man, we are getting close to an
We
hour and a half here, dude.
we should have a
This Friday.
workout thing. I should be in front of you, be like, "Come on, Sharon, put the burn." Er,
Oh God,
oh,
no.
do
Um,
my kid encouragement thing and my silly jokes and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, no. We gotta start doing these live. We're gonna start doing the Friday Find Out live. I should be able to get this up later tonight, but it's like 8 here, so it's probably not gonna be up until like God, I don't know. I don't. We should stop recording these on Friday unless we're doing live because it does not post on Friday and the whole Q&A thing is supposed to be on Friday. But
Yeah,
whatever, I digress. So in the future, we're going to start doing those live and kind of go from there. Again, if you like this content, like and subscribe. You know what to do. I don't like pushing that in my videos. I don't know if it actually has any impact on the subscribe rate, but I'm like, everybody knows what to do with YouTube. Everybody knows
Press
to
that
do
bell
the like and
button.
subscribe. Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Gotta make
so I
it a
guess that's all
bingo.
for today because we're getting like really long in this video. And we'll save some of our other questions for next Friday. And we'll do that live. So if you haven't already, please go to our Twitch and follow us on Twitch. You can subscribe or just follow. You can subscribe on Twitch and then you won't get the ads, or you can also pay for Twitch Turbo. I don't think we get revenue.
Turbo-tastic.
People use Twitch. I don't know, but I don't really care about that. Like, I don't like ads, so I don't blame people for not wanting to deal with ads, which is kind of ironic because we need ads to monetize. But I don't know. That'll be, if we get monetized, cool. If we don't, we don't. I mean, it's not. I'm trying not to make a big deal out of it. This would be cool to make into a career, and I do have like big goals for it. I want to be able to like travel and go to events related to cerebral palsy because like a lot of these organizations have like big events that they do
Yeah.
once or twice a year, and I would love to be a part of that, but that is definitely a matter of finances, which
If you like and subscribe, all future ads
yeah.
will be read while I flex my muscles.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that's about it for this Friday. So we will see you guys on our next episode, which should be episode 15. And we are going to start going over, we're going to do an episode on each different type of cerebral palsy. So we're going to start that off with the most common type of cerebral palsy, which is spastic diplegia. So stick around for that episode. That episode will be out here in probably next week. So anyway, thank you all for your support. We appreciate it, and we will see you next time.